President Trump takes a true post-impeachment victory lap at the Daytona 500. Nancy Pelosi still can't acknowledge that President Trump was acquitted, and Al Sharpton owes a ton of cash from his failed presidential run in 2004. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. Happy Monday. I hope you had a great weekend doing whatever you were doing. We have a lot to cover today. We've got some politics, we've got social issues, we've got corruption, but I have to start with President Trump and racing. As you know, I've got to cover this because, as you know, I'm a race car driver. So yeah, that was me. And as you can see, I'm an open wheel guy, IndyCar guy, working my way up the IndyCar side of things. So I'm not really a NASCAR fan, don't follow it as much. But when the president goes to the Daytona 500, you've got to cover it. And here's the president addressing the crowd.
Now we approach the moment that you've all been waiting for. Soon, the cars will take to the track for the start. Tires will screech, rubber will burn, fans will scream, and the great American race will begin.
Burning rubber. He actually said burning rubber. I can smell it now, but I'm going to start daydreaming from racing. But here's more from the president.
For 500 heart-pounding miles, these fierce competitors will chase the checkered flag, fight for the Harley J. Earl Trophy, and make their play for pure American glory. And that's what it is, pure American glory.
So in addition to the speech, which was awesome, well received, lots of cheers. It's like when President Trump was at the Alabama game. Just folks appreciative of the president and the participation in a major event. It was so cool. Then he actually gave the command to start your engines.
Daytona International Speedway, we love our country, and it's truly an honor to be with all of you at the great American race. Gentlemen, start your engines.
So if that wasn't cool enough, then after that, as they're getting ready for the pace laps, President Trump broke out the Beast, the new presidential limo, and took some laps during pace laps. Here he is getting ready.
Donald Trump is the second sitting president to attend the Daytona 500. George W. was here in 2004. A race won by the man who will wave the green flag for today's race, Dale Earnhardt Jr. But this is truly an historic first. A sitting United States president pacing the field for the great American race. He said he wanted to do a lap. He's going to do it.
So that was just awesome. And again, that's President Trump taking his true post-impeachment victory lap at the Daytona 500. You know, the Democrats have tried and tried and tried to bring this president down even before he got elected. Remember, Barack Obama and his administration had the Trump campaign under surveillance for bogus political reasons. Hopefully, a lot of people will go to jail because of that. But that was a fact. That's what happened. And then Mueller investigation, and then impeachment. And each time the president gets more popular, the Democrats get more frustrated. And that brings us to Nancy Pelosi, because she still can't get over it. I think you've got to wonder what she's thinking, and her advisors and the other top Democrats, for her to be in the leadership, to be in charge of the House, and yet time after time after time fail in any kind of political judgment or leadership. That's the thing. She has tried, she has pushed this impeachment to the point where her career is basically on the line, in my opinion, and it has failed at every single course. It is just absolutely amazing. This weekend, she was being interviewed by CNN talking about impeachment. She actually had to interrupt because she can't come to terms with the fact that President Trump was acquitted. Here's a lead into the interview.
What about, though, the fact that the president seems liberated? And this is about democratic politics, so I'm not asking you to criticize here.
All right, I just want to stop there for a second because there was a element of truth in that lead-in. Christiane Amanpour over at CNN said the president feels liberated. And he does. And he should. And this is what drives the Democrats crazy, because they think each time that they go on the attack that somehow President Trump will act like a regular Republican, like one of the establishment. And what do I mean by that? Meaning that he's going to show that he has no backbone, that he's going to run and hide, that he's going to say, oh yeah, please stop beating on me. I'll be nice now. I'll play nice with you guys. I'll let you have your way. They keep thinking that's going to happen for some reason. And yet he fires back all the time and they don't get it. So rather than feel like, relieved in a sense that, oh, impeachment's over and the Democrats, thank you for, I'm going to work with you now. No, he feels liberated. I mean, he's like, we beat it again. We beat the Democrats again. Keep coming at me because I'm going to keep beating on you. And then the interview continued. So there's right about him feeling liberated. And here's more of the interview.
But he was acquitted. His poll ratings are high.
There was no
by the
acquittal.
Senate.
You can't have an acquittal unless you have a trial. And you can't have a trial and you have witnesses and documents. So he can say he's acquitted and the headlines can say acquitted. But he's impeached forever, branded with that, and not vindicated.
Oh my gosh, impeached forever, branded with that. Like she thinks that the president cares, that he's branded with impeachment, like it's some scarlet letter that he's wearing in shame. He carries that as a badge of honor because the Democrats came at him for purely political reasons and he beat it. He just beat him back. It was such a partisan impeachment. And then in the Senate, you had it beat down by the Republicans, except for Mitt Romney, which shows that there was no real case there. The whole idea of impeachment is that it goes back to what Nancy Pelosi said last March, that it needs to be compelling, overwhelming, and bipartisan. Otherwise, it's going to fail. This one failed. And yet she's still on this. She can't let it go. And I sincerely wonder if the Democrats had any sense, she would not continue as speaker because she's shown no leadership and she's shown no political judgment. And yet she continues on. It's just amazing. So more on the Democrat side, old Democrat in the corrupt, nasty kind of race baiting sense, we have Al Sharpton. And I ran across this story and I just couldn't believe it. It just shows that there are rules in place that have nothing to do with race. They have to do with power. And if you're powerful, you get away with stuff. It doesn't matter how far left you are. You're just entitled as anybody. Al Sharpton, who has made his career off of corruption and law breaking and race baiting and on, he owes close to $1 million still from his failed presidential campaign, which was back in 2004. Here's a story from the Washington Times. Reverend Al Sharpton's unsuccessful presidential campaign had nearly $1 million in debt at the end of 2019, more than 15 years after his 2004 presidential bid. Sharpton's former campaign treasurer, Andrew Rivera, is responsible for paying off the $925,713 in debt. I've asked Andrew Rivera, the finance chair of my 2004 campaign, to set up a meeting with the Federal Election Commission so that I can resolve any campaign debts related to Sharpton 2004, Sharpton told the New York Post. I am willing to work out a settlement for all claims with my own money to the degree that I'm allowed, and I will raise money directly. Even if I am not legally liable for it, I am certainly morally responsible. Morally responsible. Give me a break. He's the most morally irresponsible person that's out there. And this is so weird because following that 2004 campaign, he got hit with ethics violations from the FEC to the sum of $285,000. That was settled in 2009. And now you've got nearly $1 million still ongoing from 2004 presidential campaign. Pay this or go to jail. Why isn't this guy in jail? I mean, he runs a national network. He makes over $1 million a year. I call it the National Shakedown Network that he runs. But he continues to just go on. I mean, it's unbelievable that someone could drag this out without any kind of repercussions at all. It's just amazing. So finally, I want to talk about a story from last week, give you kind of an update on it. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist per se, but something is very strange in what happened at this recent track meet in Connecticut, high school track meet, girls track meet. If you recall last week, I've covered this before. You've got these two boys running in that are allowed to run in Connecticut girls high school track meets, okay, because of the whole transgender movement. They've won since 2017 15 state championships in track, these two. And they're allowed to run. They're allowed to run in girls sports, blow out the girls, and in the meantime, the girls are left with nothing. You know, they're losing chances at wins, losing chances at podiums, losing chances at scholarships. Well, they filed a lawsuit last week, 3 girls, and it's just so funny that right after this lawsuit, now you have the Connecticut State track meet again, and one of the people, Chelsea Mitchell, involved in that lawsuit, she actually won. She beat Terry Miller, a boy, this year, and great for Chelsea Mitchell. She clearly beat all the other girls, but it's just really strange the timing that we have this lawsuit and Chelsea Mitchell wins. And here's a report from the Washington Times. A female high school student defeated a transgender athlete in Connecticut State Championship race just 2 days after a lawsuit was filed in an effort to block transgender athletes from participating in girls' sports in the state. Chelsea Mitchell of Canton High School won the Class S 55-meter dash title on Friday night with a time of 7.18 seconds, edging Terry Miller of Bloomfield High School. Miller, a transgender athlete, finished 7.2 seconds. So Miller is a boy, just to clarify. The families of Mitchell and the other 2 female high school runners filed a federal lawsuit on Wednesday, arguing that allowing athletes with male anatomy to compete has deprived them of track titles and scholarship opportunities. So like I said, great for Mitchell, but I wish the story would dig more in depth to see what was behind this, whether it was an injury or what, because I just want to go over some of the numbers here, all right? Last year, okay, Terry Miller won this 55-meter dash with a time of 6.91 seconds to Mitchell's 7.23. So he beat Mitchell by over 0.3 of a second, over 55 meters, 55-meter dash, okay? This year, Mitchell beat him by 0.02 of a second. So Mitchell's time improved from last year by 0.05 of a second, and Terry Miller's, the boy, dropped by 0.3. In the 300-meter dash, Mitchell beat Terry Miller again in that, and Terry Miller's time dropped off by nearly 7 seconds from last year's winning time. The time that Chelsea Mitchell, the girl in this race, won, she won with around 40 seconds this time around. Terry Miller last year won with 38 seconds. So something is very bizarre when the boy drops his time by 7 seconds from last year. And either he's injured or right in time for the lawsuit, he tanks so that the girl actually wins to show that, oh my gosh, it is a fair playing field. That's what bugs me about this whole thing. That's what really seems weird. Congratulations to Chelsea Mitchell, because regardless of what Terry Miller's doing, she won. She beat all the other girls, and that's what should matter. And so we'll see what happens going forward with this lawsuit. Hopefully they can restore some sanity to Connecticut and other places, and we'll see how it goes. But folks, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, and when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified, and we'll see you next time. I'm Bobby Eberly. This is a 13-minute news hour. Okay, friends, just a little reminder before you go, and no, this does not count against my 13 minutes. Please hit the subscribe button below and tell your friends. And if you happen to miss our last show, you can check it out right here. And also for great conservative news and commentary, please check out GOPUSA.com. All right, folks, we'll see you on the next show. Have a great day.